Well, Bob, this fog is a little bit creepy, and it's
Yeah.
also dangerous if you're driving.
It is. It doesn't get enough respect in terms of how dangerous it is, really, because it's not very visual, so to speak.
Right.
Everything gets blocked out, so you can't see it. But driving conditions at Florida, one of the worst states as far as fog injuries and
Wow.
deaths go
Yeah.
when it comes to this weather phenomenon. I want to share the Sunshine Skyway webcam. Just a couple of images. This was around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock this afternoon, as you're looking toward the Sunshine Skyway Bridge right there, heading off toward St. Pete in Pinellas County. And then just a short time later, you'll see that fog just kind of rolling in. And so some fog advisories have been in effect last couple of nights. They will again tonight as a result of this phenomenon that occurs during the late fall, winter months, especially here in Florida. And photos have been sent in. We showed you a couple from Damon Powers earlier. This one from Brooke O'Malley from Longboat Key. It just kind of settled in real quick. Went from a nice afternoon down to almost zero visibility at times, down to a half mile now at the Sarasota Bradian Airport. There could be some delays with air traffic there as a result of the fog. It's spreading all the way down to Venice now and east along I-75 into eastern portions of Sarasota County. Now, we'll have it again, I think, tomorrow evening, but then by tomorrow morning, or I should say Thursday morning, it will be gone because of this front. This front will bring in some drier air, and so the temperature and dew point will separate a little bit more so. So the fog, I don't think, will be a concern on Thursday morning, but tomorrow morning, a big concern for commuters along the Sun Coast. Heavy rain, a big concern across the panhandle of Florida as some rough weather starting to move through there associated with that front. We're not going to see much, though, in terms of rain here with the cold front as it moves through early Thursday morning. But right now, 68 degrees, dew point is at 66, and the humidity at 93%, so just 2 degrees away as far as the dew point temperature goes. Winds are still out of the west-northwest, bringing that sea fog on shore. The high today was well above average at 79, our normal high at 74, and the record 87 set back in 1965. 22 was the record low temperature set back in 1962. This morning's low was well above that at 61. And as far as rainfall goes, I mentioned this front, not expecting a lot of rain. We'll see a few brief showers on Thursday morning, but then things will start to clear out of here and dry out for much of the weekend. Dew point temperatures are riding high all across the peninsula now, 74 into Key West, 71 in Miami, and 66 in Sarasota, Orlando at 63 degrees. So once the temperature reaches the dew point, the moisture has to come out of the atmosphere some way or another, and now we're seeing it in terms of fog. 68-degree temperature now in Sarasota, 77 in Orlando, and inland areas still very warm, upper 70s there in Sebring and Arcadia, 73 in Northport, right near the water with that west to northwest wind and that fog kind of cooling things off as the evaporative processes take place there. Hourly forecast tomorrow, fog around in the morning, burning off around 10, 11 o'clock for most areas, and then warming up into the mid-70s near the beaches, upper 70s to low 80s inland. That's what we saw today. Well, on the national satellite and radar imagery, we can see some snow falling now into Ohio, spreading off towards Pennsylvania and into New York. That's a quick moving system. It's not producing a lot of heavy snowfall, but whiteout conditions at times for drivers there along I-75 in Ohio. Behind it is the real story, a large area of Arctic air settling in there and more rain for the southeast that need it over the southeast, so we're not going to get much of that. As I mentioned, some heavier storms in the Pensacola. There's that Arctic air mass I mentioned. It's spreading out across much of the northern Rockies, spreading off toward the east into the upper Mississippi Valley. Minneapolis now at 5. It's 10 in Chicago. Although it's 32 in Cleveland, and they're not going to avoid this cold Arctic outbreak as it heads off to the east on Wednesday and Thursday. So places like Toronto and Detroit and Cleveland, as well as into Cincinnati and also Pittsburgh, will see this extreme cold air head that way. It's not going to drop big time south, though, at this point. So we're in the clear as far as that cold weather goes. So fog around tomorrow morning by 11:30 or so. Most of it should be out of here. And then here comes the front. There's still a chance we'll see fog tomorrow night. But by Thursday morning, this front comes down and kind of disrupts that. We'll see a chance for a few brief showers as it moves on through. Well, the big concern will be that fog throughout the morning hours. Winds will be very light tomorrow. Seas running less than 2 feet with a light chop in the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now at 70 degrees. So that is still pretty warm for this time of year. We haven't had any significant cold fronts move through that has really chilled that out quite yet. High tide upcoming 10:16, a low tide at 6:44, sunrise at 7:12. And it looks like tonight's forecast, you guessed it, more fog, 63 for a low, warm conditions with light winds. And tomorrow, expect the fog to be around in the morning and then partly cloudy throughout midday, 76 for a high near the beaches, Low 80s inland, south winds turn to the west at 5 to 10. The extended forecast calling for temperatures just slightly cooler because of this front. Not much of a drop. In fact, by the weekend, we go back into the 80s on Saturday and Sunday with only a 20% chance for a shower or two.